There was a time when Amanda Bynes felt almost impossible to dislike. She had a kind of presence that didn't demand attention, but somehow held it anyway. On screen, she was quick, expressive, and effortlessly funny in a way that felt unforced.
Should have skipped that 13th candy bar.
She didn't come across as someone trying to perform for approval. Instead, she gave the impression that she was simply enjoying what she was doing, and audiences responded to that honesty. To the public, her rise looked clean and uncomplicated. She was talented, she worked hard, and success followed. It made sense. It felt deserved. But what makes Amanda Bynes' story unsettling isn't the rise. It's how quietly things began to change, long before anyone thought to question it. Because by the time the world started paying attention to what was going wrong, the more important question had already been missed. Not what happened to her, but what had been happening to her all along. Amanda Bynes did not enter the entertainment industry as a manufactured personality. From a young age, she showed a genuine inclination toward performance, particularly comedy. She had timing, which is often the difference between someone who can act and someone who can truly entertain.
You, me, talk.
That one for me, Lucy.
Ricky, I want to be in your show.
You are pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Timing is instinctive. It's difficult to teach and even harder to replicate artificially. Her early involvement in improv and stage performances gave her something many young actors never develop: adaptability. She wasn't rigid in her delivery. She could respond, adjust, and play with the moment. That kind of flexibility made her stand out, not just as a child performer, but as someone who could carry attention naturally. When she was discovered and brought into television, it didn't feel like a stretch. It felt like a continuation of something she was already doing well. And that is often how the industry identifies its most valuable assets. Not by forcing talent into existence, but by recognizing something already present and then scaling it. At that stage, everything still felt grounded. She was a young performer doing what she loved, supported by an environment that, at least on the surface, appeared structured and professional. But environments that seem stable from the outside can operate very differently beneath that surface. When Amanda became part of Nickelodeon, she entered a system that had already proven it could produce success. The network had developed a model that went beyond simply creating shows. It specialized in building recognizable young personalities who could anchor entire programs. In this system, talent is only the starting point. What follows is refinement. Characters are shaped, behaviors are reinforced, and certain qualities are emphasized because they resonate with audiences. Over time, those qualities begin to define the performer. Amanda quickly became one of the network's strongest assets. Her ability to carry sketches, shift between characters, and maintain comedic energy placed her in a position where more responsibility naturally followed. Eventually, that responsibility turned into her own show. From a distance, this looks like success in its purest form. A young performer rising through merit, earning opportunities, and becoming the center of a growing audience. But being the center of something comes with weight. Production schedules intensify. Expectations increase. Consistency becomes non-negotiable. It is no longer enough to be talented. You must also be reliable, available, and aligned with the direction of the brand. And for someone still developing their sense of self, that alignment can begin to replace identity rather than support it. As Amanda moved beyond children's television and into film, the scale of her career changed significantly. The audience widened, the scrutiny increased, and the expectations became more complex. In film, performance is not just about delivery. It becomes tied to marketability, image, and long-term positioning. Actors are no longer just evaluated on their ability to perform, but on how they can be perceived, packaged, and sustained over time. Amanda managed this transition with apparent ease. She took on roles that expanded her range while still maintaining the relatability that audiences had come to expect from her. She remained recognizable but adaptable. However, this stage of a career often introduces a different kind of pressure. It is less visible than the demands of production schedules, but more persistent. It is the pressure to remain consistent in identity while continuously evolving in performance. In other words, to grow without appearing to change. And that balance is difficult to maintain, particularly for someone who has spent their formative years being shaped within a structured system. What makes Amanda Bynes' story particularly difficult to understand is that there was no clear turning point. There was no single moment where everything visibly shifted from stability to instability. Instead, the change appeared gradual. From the outside, her career still looked intact. She was working, she was visible, and there was no immediate reason to assume something was wrong. But internally, something was beginning to move in a different direction.
You on drugs and all that stuff?
Thank God.
No?
I'm
You
pretty
still live
normal.
with your mom and dad?
I still live at home.
That's lovely. Good for you.
Thank you. No, it's really nice. I'm so lucky. I love my family, and why move when
For example, to the kid. Now,
I just don't want to go and party? Well, you know what I mean? I feel like,
you can party a bit.
okay, well, maybe, yeah. But, I feel like I want to do, a good job and, actually
You'll
study.
do a good job. Yeah, I'm sure you'll do a good job. You're a very diligent young lady. I'm sure you. Are you very good at that? You studied, you learn your lines, and you're well behaved.
I try to be. I have a good memory, luckily. I hope I
Look.
keep that sound.
Have you got any secret piercings or anything? Any kind of...
No,
I think that's good. Send a message to the kids of America. It's okay to be wholesome.
it's okay to not have piercing.
Yeah, I'm looking for dirt, but you don't have any.
There's no real dirt. I like to draw and I like to eat popcorn. I don't know. Pretty
Did you go out
normal.
dancing at night with the other kids?
No, because I'm not 21 yet, so I can't legally dance.
You're
places.
waiting.
Yes.
You're waiting till you're
Yeah,
21.
I love to dance, but most places you can't get in until
You can dance
21.
anywhere. You can dance
But
right
I
here if you
dance
like.
with myself. I got this jacket when I was 15 when I did Big Fat Liar.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh, it's a
full-
lovely movie.
I really should get a new jacket.
15 to 18, you're going to grow up, you're going to fill out,
that's
you're going to become a
true.
woman. You
That's
don't
a good
want to be.
point.
Yeah.
I should take it off.
No.
I don't mean like that. I just mean, but I'm gonna keep it on.
First of all, let me congratulate you on the cover of Vanity Fair.
Thank
Look
you.
at this. She was on the cover. Isn't that where I would guess? There you are, next to the Olsen twins.
Yeah.
How are they to work with?
They're really sweet.
Yeah.
I had met them a couple times, but they're really sweet. It was cool to do something where you're with your generation of girls. So.
Yeah, that's what's cool about this issue, because it's all the generation of the new, young kind of actresses.
How do you not fall into the traps that all of the other girls your age are falling into?
I have fun being with my family and my friends, and I don't need to be out at the clubs that all the other actors and people are at.
At 21 years old, Amanda Bynes has her head on straight and her goals in sight: acting, designing clothes, and staying out of trouble.
It just sort of is your genes, and then it's also the people you surround yourself with. For me, I'm very close with my parents.
Amanda's suggestion for Fallen star Lindsay Lohan: move into the Bynes household for some good old reprimanding.
What do you think would happen if she moved in with your parents?
I don't know what would happen, but it would be fun. It definitely should be some sort of reality show.
This is often how pressure manifests. It does not announce itself. It accumulates quietly through expectations, through the absence of rest, through the lack of space to develop independently of the roles you are expected to fulfill. For individuals who enter the industry at a young age, this accumulation can become particularly complex. The line between personal identity and professional identity becomes difficult to separate. If a person has spent years being known primarily for what they do, rather than who they are, then stepping away from that structure can feel less like freedom and more like disorientation. And when that disorientation is not understood or supported, it can begin to surface in ways that appear unpredictable from the outside. When Amanda's behavior began to change publicly, the response was immediate, but not necessarily thoughtful. The narrative shifted quickly from admiration to confusion, and from confusion to judgment. Media coverage focused on visible moments, often without context, framing them as isolated incidents rather than part of a larger pattern. This is a common response within celebrity culture. The public tends to react to what is visible, not what is underlying. Behavior becomes the focal point, while the conditions that produce that behavior remain largely unexamined. In Amanda's case, the The coverage did not explore the years of pressure, the early exposure to structured environments, or the gradual shift in identity that may have taken place over time. Instead, the focus remained on the outcome. And when the outcome is all that is visible, it becomes easier to misinterpret the cause. Eventually, Amanda's situation led to formal intervention. Legal structures were put in place, including conservatorship, which is designed to manage and protect individuals who are considered unable to manage certain aspects of their lives independently. In theory, these structures exist for protection. In practice, they introduce another layer of complexity. Control does not disappear when intervention begins. It changes form. Decisions become centralized. Autonomy becomes limited. The individual's ability to act independently is redefined within a legal framework. For the public, understanding these structures is difficult because access to information is limited. What is known is often partial, and what is assumed can fill in the gaps inaccurately. What remains consistent, however, is that Amanda's public presence became significantly quieter. Not necessarily because her story had ended, but because it had moved out of public visibility and into a more controlled environment.
Amanda, we could talk about her conservatorship, the alleged tweets exposing Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon, her legal troubles, and of course her blind history. And y'all know that I always bring y'all receipts. Now, y'all know what I always say. Everything I'm about to say is alleged. This is all public information. I am just some bitch on the internet, and you don't have to believe a word that I say. And before I get into it, I just want to say a big trigger warning for just about everything you can think of, okay? Now, the first blind item we have regarding Amanda is back in 2007, and it's regarding her at the SAG Awards saying that she's spotted so drunk she slumped on a bathroom floor. Then in 2008, it is alleged through a blind that Amanda is trying to get over a breakup as well as trying to kick a white powdery substance habit while she is filming a movie, and this causes so much stress that she ends up making an attempt to unalive herself. Apparently, after this attempt, she only took a 10-day break, then she continued filming and finishing the movie. Now, in 2010, Amanda announces publicly that she is retiring from acting and that instead she wants to be a fashion designer. In 2010, blinds allege that Amanda is no longer able to secure acting jobs without auditioning anymore. Apparently, she's really struggling with this because at the same time, she's struggling with severe substance use, and it's alleged that her parents were staging an intervention. Blinds allege that the person who's to blame for Amanda's substance use is none other than her ex-boyfriend Kid Cudi. Apparently, around this time, she's at his beck and call. He's cheating, but she's basically doing anything he asks. Apparently, the situation between them is so toxic that he's borrowed a ton of money from her, yet he has enough money to buy his new girlfriend after Amanda a car. Around this time, she starts getting into a lot of legal trouble. In April 2012, she's arrested for a DUI, which they later changed to be like a hit and run. But after one of her hearings regarding this, she tweets at Obama saying, "Hey, Barack Obama, I don't drink. Please fire the cop who arrested me. I also don't hit and run." The end. In August, she's charged with another hit and run. And just a month later, she's charged with driving under a suspended license. In September 2012, apparently Amanda locks herself in a dressing room at a store for like 2 hours. The employees were starting to get really, really worried when they said that all they heard was like banging noises every like 10 minutes or so. And they apparently asked her to come out a few times and she would always just say like, "I need more time." Around this time, she's also kicked out of a spin class for erratic behavior. In 2013, blinds alleged that Amanda's still very much hooked on substances, and at one point she was set to meet like one of her dealers. So she's walking around New York City for like 3 hours waiting for him, and apparently when he went to go meet her, he saw that she had drawn in such a crowd that he like fled without even talking to her. Blinds also say that during this time, Amanda is diagnosed with PTSD, and super duper allegedly it has to do with someone assaulting her when she was younger, someone she trusted, and apparently no police report was ever filed at the request of her parents. Apparently it made her upset that she just had to continue working as normal. During this time, Amanda starts tweeting at people like Rihanna, Chrissy Teigen. To Rihanna, she tweeted, "Chris Brown beat you because you're not pretty enough." She tweets again talking about how she almost named her dog Rihanna. Now Rihanna hits back and says, "Y'all see what happens when you cancel intervention?" And Amanda, of course, took offense to this. She tweeted back at Rihanna saying, "Your fugly faced self, I don't do drugs. You need the intervention, dog. I met your ugly face in person. You aren't pretty, you know it." Now, Chrissy Teigen is also somebody that Amanda tweeted at. This is because Chrissy Teigen initially tweeted something about Amanda saying that the fact that Amanda has any support to retweet is really unsettling. She said, you should support people with mental illnesses, yes, but don't condone/enable scary and poor behavior. This is what Amanda had to say. Y'all can pause to read it, but basically she's telling her, you're not pretty compared to me. I signed to 4 models at 13. I don't look up to you. You're old. Like, why would you say that I have a mental illness when I show no sign of it? She says her career is uninspiring and she doesn't respect her, but I just find it interesting that Amanda was not really recognizing that both of them were 27 at the time. And of course, y'all know the infamous Drake tweet. We don't have to talk about it. Now, Amanda does end up getting kicked out of another gym class where they said that she was acting erratic and she was even talking to herself. And eventually she ends up setting fire to a stranger's home, like a neighbor's house. They had no relation to her. She did not know them, but she's placed under a 5150 hold by the state of California. And this is, I think, what triggers a conservatorship. In 2013, Amanda was placed under a conservatorship. Her mom became the conservator. Her parents cited concern for Amanda and the well-being of others. They stated that Amanda had made comments saying that she was being watched by smoke detectors and through her car's dashboard. This conservatorship gave her parents, and especially her mom, full control of her life decisions and her finances. Now, throughout the conservatorship is when we have the start of the Ashley Banks Twitter account. The Ashley Banks account is a Twitter account that was run allegedly by Amanda. Although this has never been proven that it was actually her, it did tweet out personal photos of Amanda as well as her driver's license. And this account is where she goes on to expose everything that was happening in her life as well as Dan Schneider and things like that. We left off talking about the Ashley Banks Twitter account, which was allegedly run by Amanda, and we're going to go through some of the things that account said. So we start off with this account saying things like, they use me and my talent only to have me committed and steal millions. The account also tweeted things like, there are many SPs in Hollywood. Some of the rumors are true, some of the rumors are false, but also one man in particular took hundreds of photos of my feet. I was only 13. Then it says one of the main reasons why I may never be able to get pregnant. So if you know anything about Dan Schneider, then you already know the feet reference, because apparently he's very into feet and it's shown in a lot of like the different scenes in all of these shows like iCarly and The Amanda Show and things like that. In this one, the account says my parents never cared and I continue to be financially R-worded by both of my parents on a daily basis. Then she says, Harvey Weinstein, no, don't you mean Dan Schneider? This is also when she tweets about John Travolta, about Dan Schneider. It also called Dan Schneider certain things like, Mr. Give me a word that rhymes with show and I'll give you a show, Schneider, suck my to get on Nick, Schneider, and if she's a fighter, hold her tighter, Schneider. This account would eventually also say that it was her parents that were tweeting on the Amanda Bynes account and asked for people to pray so she could have control of her finances. Now, the Amanda Bynes account would actually end up discrediting this account later, but we'll get back to this in just a little bit. Now, in 2014, Amanda Bynes in real life enrolls at FIDM, the Fashion Institute. In 2015, a blind says that Amanda Bynes is running out of the little bit of funds that she does have since her parents are controlling her finances, but it alleges that it's because of the substance use. And apparently around this time, she's at FIDM telling classmates that she's pregnant, something that the blind says is hard to believe. In 2016, it's alleged that she had her life threatened by Kid Cudi, and allegedly she threatened him with the police or that he go and get help, and apparently he chose to go get help. Around this time, apparently Amanda is thinking about coming forward with names and her experience, but apparently she's afraid of not being believed due to her past. Now, going back to Amanda Bynes' official Twitter account denouncing the Ashley Banks account, now eventually Amanda Bynes' account stated that they would come after the Ashley Banks account, like legally. And in 2017, we have a blind about how that wasn't going to happen. No one got any legal documents. Nobody was getting sued. And to this day that we know of, it actually didn't happen. She never sued this person. So they're alleging that it's because it's actually her. So 2019, the news started reporting that Amanda is now in rehab. Amanda is well known to have been close with NT, the lawyer and the person who runs the Crazy Days and Nights website, which is full of celebrity blinds. And so apparently she had been communicating with him through emails, and this is how she was communicating with fans, was like through NT. This is one of the emails that it's alleged to have been sent from Amanda, where she talks about how she's not in fact in a rehab facility and that it's instead part of her mom's, elaborate plan to get her committed against her will. She talks about how her mom is spending a large amount of her money, and she talks about how she's not relapsing, she's not using substances. And the email even states that Amanda allegedly has proof that her mom is attempting to buy another house with her money. Eventually, the news would report that Amanda apparently fled the living facility she was at, and apparently her family was worried about her continuing to use substances, and they were not sure where she was living. So it's a little hard to know what to believe here, but either she was at a living facility and then fled, or she wasn't ever, and this was somebody planting news in the media to make it seem like she was. In 2020, Amanda Bynes introduces us to her fiance. She announces her engagement, something that Bynes allege was her way of trying to gain control of her life again. However, the Bynes also alleges that at the end of the day, her family still gets to decide whether she's allowed to get married or not, and they state it wasn't going to happen, which it didn't happen. In 2022, Amanda's apparently still struggling to gain access to her money, which Bynes say her new lawyer assigned PIs to look into the financial trail of her finances. And this, my friends, is when her conservatorship ends after 9 long years. In early 2023, unfortunately, Amanda is placed in another psychiatric hold after she's found roaming the streets of LA naked. I talked about this when it happened. It's really, really sad. But this is when her blinds start to quiet down. We have one more blind from 2024 where it talks about how Amanda was apparently asked to be on the Quiet on Set documentary, and that apparently just being asked to be on the documentary made her paralyzed for a week.
Some of Amanda Bynes' alleged old tweets from a burner account are coming to light after the release of the docuseries Quiet on Set, which is streaming now on HBO Max, that sheds light on child stardom, specifically in Nickelodeon, and Dan Schneider and Brian Peck, and the abuse and trauma that these child stars went through. If you haven't yet, you need to go check out that docuseries. I have a few clips on my page right now of Drake Bell explaining the horrors that he went through. And of course, Amanda Bynes was so heavily immersed in Nickelodeon as a child star and working closely with these predators. So let's hear what she has to say. Or rather, what she had to say, again, from a burner account when she was under conservatorship, similarly to Britney Spears. All right, so while Amanda Bynes was under conservatorship, she ran an alleged Twitter account, like I said, under the name Ashley Banks, AB. There were personal photos posted of Amanda, including a photo of her alleged driver's license. Here are some claims that were tweeted from her account. And those photos were obviously to prove that it was her. She tweeted that her parents and lawyer ran her verified Twitter account, and we know for a fact that Britney Spears and other celebrities have no control over their social media accounts either. She had no control over her money, and millions were stolen from her, nor was she allowed to freely travel. We now know for a fact that this also happened to Britney. She claims her Hairspray co-star, John Travolta, is a sexual monster, something I, the author of the tweet, not me, can confirm since I, them, have done stories on him and talked to sources who have valid claims Travolta sexually assaulted them and or made unwanted predatory sexual advances on them. Pause to read some of the tweets from the account. Now, this is crazy because this is the first I've heard about John Travolta, but I think that a lot of these men in Hollywood are the same, and I think it's only a matter of time until it all comes to light. I also think that a lot of these women were labeled as crazy, and so they didn't get as much credit as they should. But let's think about why maybe they became unstable. Again, it's because of these men in Hollywood. And here's the last one where the account posted her driver's license, which obviously not too many people other than Amanda Bynes would have access to.
We've heard Amanda Bynes talk about how she wants to end her conservatorship. She's been living under it for nearly 9 years. Well, last week she finally did it. She filed the papers with the court, the petition to legally bring it to an end. Back in 2013, Amanda was placed on a temporary conservatorship which was controlled by her mother. This was after she allegedly set a driveway on fire and was involuntarily hospitalized on a psychiatric hold. Then the following year, it turned into a permanent conservatorship. Amanda's court date is coming up. It's on March 22nd. It's at 11 a.m. And it looks like it's going to go smoothly. So the mom is also named Lynn. Also, because Britney's mom's name is Lynn. So Lynn's lawyer says that Lynn fully supports this termination, and she expects the conservatorship will come to an end on or around the upcoming court date. So this could be over for Amanda this month. She says Lynn has always intended it to be temporary and is extremely happy, thrilled, and proud of Amanda, and is ready to terminate this conservatorship based on all the hard work Amanda has done. Looking closer at the petition, Amanda's psychiatrist says that she has no thought disorders and she does have the capacity to give informed consent to any medical treatment. Amanda has already received her AA degree from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and now she's working on her bachelor's degree. Since 2020, she's been living in a structured community for women. Initially, she lived in a transitional house, and then in 2021, she transitioned into the apartment community, which offers an independent living environment for women. Also, her assets are not a part of the conservatorship. It says they are in a trust, and her father is the trustee. And it even has her college transcripts, which show excellent grades. Good for her. I'm happy for Amanda.
Amanda Bynes has been placed on psychiatric hold after being found roaming the streets naked and alone. TMZ reported this a few minutes ago. This only comes one day after she had canceled her first public appearance since her conservatorship had ended. This past weekend, Amanda was scheduled to appear at 90s Con, along with some of her old castmates such as Keenan and Kel and Lori. But Kel had asked the crowd to send a prayer to Bynes for her to feel better. A source close to Bynes says that she is still in the hospital and will likely receive care for several days.
Oh my god. Amanda Bynes is back and she's releasing music now. And reminder, she also just got out of her conservatorship, but let's listen to some of her song.
Diamonds on my neck, on my wrist. Diamonds on my fish, yeah, I'll wait. Diamonds on my neck, on my wrist. Diamonds on my fish, yeah, I'll wait.
It's low-key catchy.
Everyone, welcome to Amanda Bynes and Paul Semensky, the podcast. Today we are welcoming Dahlia Moth on our show.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everybody. Hi, I am Paul. And welcome to our beautiful guest, Dahlia.
Hello. Hi. How are you guys doing today?
Oh my God, you're doing fabulously.
Yes.
It is so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Okay, awesome. Are you ready for the questions?
I think so.
Okay, great. Our first question for you, Dahlia, is what do you do for work and what inspired you to be in that industry?
Okay, so I'm a tattoo artist. I do microrealism as well as gothic realism. I kind of do a little bit of everything just to keep it fun and so I don't get kind of bored. And originally I was a model and I didn't really like the message that I was sending with that. It's not a very beneficial thing to the community and society. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit better and beneficial for society. So I wanted to do tattooing.
That's super rad. So
that's incredible.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, as somebody that's not intimately affiliated with the world of tattoos, you mentioned like gothic realism and like microrealism. Like, could you elaborate on those?
So gothic realism is kind of the dark, spooky stuff. That's kind of my niche, but I kind of do a little bit of everything. And with the micro stuff, it can also be considered fine line. So super small, intricate line work.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Do you have a favorite tattoo that you've done?
Oh, that one's hard because it's like they're kind of like my kids, you know, like all my little tattoo children. But if I had to pick one, I'd say it wasn't probably my best tattoo that I've done, but it was very sentimental because it was on my mother, and so that it was a little moth, and so I keep that one close to my heart.
Oh, I love that too.
Absolutely love that.
What's up, y'all? I wanted to make a post about this new Christian Dior shimmer powder that I'm rocking right now. I absolutely love it. It is number 3 Pearlescent Glow. You have to try it. It is so pretty. I'm wearing a lot right now. I'm gonna smudge it and blend it, but I just wanted you guys to see like how pretty it is. I know that it's like not blended. I just like put it on with my finger and was kind of stunned by the results. Also, I dyed my hair black, as you can see, and I am growing out my bangs, so they're kind of short right now. I cannot wait till they grow out, so I can wear a side swept bang. That is all. Check out this shimmer powder, and that is it.
Amanda, say what's up.
What's up?
We just walking the streets of Hollywood. It's St. Patrick's Day. And I saw my girl walking, so I said I had to say what's up.
Hey, y'all. I wanted to post a video today to talk about paparazzi and self-worth. Whenever I see a paparazzi photo, the majority of the time, I look nothing like myself. I'm talking 16 chins, face looks completely different, and it's an all-around terrifying experience to look myself up online, quite honestly. Like, I'm about to cry, just thinking about it. But I wanted to post this video so people know that I'm just like you. I want to look my best. Of course, I can take an unflattering shot, but the amount of unflattering shots that I see online, I know that my photos are being photoshopped. I don't look like that in the photos that I take or when I look at myself in the mirror. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys are having a sick day. I love you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Oh, I'm going on Ozempic. So excited. I'm 173 now. So I hope to get down to like 130, which would be awesome. So I look better in paparazzi pictures and you don't see my double chin from strange angles. Yeah, so that's about it.
Amanda Bynes' story does not exist in isolation. It reflects a broader pattern within the entertainment industry, particularly among those who enter it at a young age. Early success can accelerate exposure, but it can also compress development. Experiences that would normally unfold gradually become concentrated within a shorter period of time. When that happens, the individual may achieve external success while still navigating internal uncertainty. And if that uncertainty is not recognized or addressed, it can surface later in ways that appear sudden, even though they have been building for years. What Amanda's story highlights is not just the cost of fame, but the structure that surrounds it. Fame does not operate independently. It exists within systems that shape behavior, influence identity, and manage outcomes. Understanding that structure does not provide simple answers, but it does shift the focus. From what happened to why it happened, Amanda Bynes was never simply the image people saw on screen. And perhaps the most difficult part of her story is realizing how much of her life was shaped long before anyone thought to question it.